Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, The Town Watch. My name is Josh Town. Thank you for stopping by today. In this video, we're going to be looking at a micro brand dive watch called the Deep Eddy from Dufrane Watches out of Austin, Texas. So this watch is actually assembled right here in the United States. I think that is pretty cool, and I think you're going to find that this is a pretty unique looking diver. So let's jump right into the full review. All right, here it is, the Deep Eddy from Dufrane watches. Let's jump right into the specs and features. The movement that is being used here is the Ronda R150. I was not too familiar with this automatic movement from Ronda, so I had to look up some information about it. So I want to share that with you just in case you're not familiar either. It's a 25 joule movement, and Dufrane has actually regulated it to plus or minus 8 seconds a day, so that is really great that they're doing that. 38-hour power reserve on this watch, and it beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it is a hacking and a hand winding movement. The sapphire here is a double domed sapphire crystal with AR coating. Case diameter on this watch is 42 millimeters. Case thickness came in to be 14.3 as I measured it. Lug to lug distance was 47.5, but I also measured the male end links here. That measurement came out to be 53.9 millimeters to the edge of those end links. Lug width here is 22 millimeters. Band material is stainless steel. Water resistance is 200 meters. The weight with just the links that I have here was 165 grams, and the MSRP price is $515 from Dufrane. Now you might see some scratches and some wear and tear on this particular model. It's been passed around to some other people, so it is not a brand new watch. I want you to keep that in mind. But what are my initial thoughts about this Deep Eddy from the micro brand Dufrane? The first thing that I'm struck by when I look at this watch is the large dial. Maybe that's what you were struck by as well. It's what I noticed right away. Second thing that I noticed was the bezel, that it's very thin. And the third thing that I noticed was these large indices that are here on this watch, some of the largest that I've seen. I think this is a unique diver look, unlike any other dive watch that I can think of, and so I think that is a good thing. It's not copying any other brand or any other dive watch that I can think of. It's not bad looking, but personally for me, I don't think it would be my first choice in a dive watch. It's a little on the bigger size, and the large dial makes it feel all of that 42 millimeters, but I don't think it's too big for me. Even though it does have those male end links, I think I can pull it off, and it felt fine on my 6.5 inch wrists. Let's talk about the case here. It is a hefty case. It's a little on the chunky size, a little on the thick size in my opinion, but not too bad. You get a mix of brush surfaces, polished surfaces here, but mainly brushing. As you can see, some of these edges here are polished, but that is the finishing. You get screwed down case back here that has some engraving on it, some information that you can see. The lugs on this watch have a slight curve down to them, and you can see that they are also drilled. The crown on this watch is signed. It is screwed down. I measured it in to be about 6.9 millimeters. It functions fine, as you screw it out, but I felt like it didn't have the best grip texture here, although it is definitely functional for sure. All right, the bezel here, I believe, is a ceramic insert, if I remember correctly, and you can see it is a 12-hour bezel. The first 15 minutes are marked out, but then there are no other markings except for the numerals that are there. It is a loomed bezel, which I like to see, and we'll see a loom shot here in a moment. I think the grip texture on the edge of the bezel is really good. You can get a good purchase on it. And let's check the action out. It's actually a really good action. Feels great, and I really enjoyed it. Had no issues there with that. Now, the thin look of this bezel might not be for everybody. You guys share your thoughts about what you think about the bezel and how thin it is down in the comments below. Let's talk about the dial. This one is the white dial version, I believe they call it, the snow dial. It's definitely a crisp white color. There is a chapter ring here that is quite steep in its slope, and it has the black tick marks there for the seconds and for the minutes. And you can see there are some cutouts into that chapter ring for the indices that are there. They've made that part of the design of this watch. I don't think it looks bad. I think other watch brands have done that. Most recently, the one I can remember is my Seiko Monster also has their indices slightly cut out and pushed into the chapter ring. So that is something that has been done before for sure, and I don't think it looks too bad. The indices, as I mentioned, are super large, and they make this watch super legible, especially the circular indices that are here are just so huge. And it doesn't bother me at all. I like to see a nice legible watch. The only thing I thought looked a little out of place was the triangle indice at the top. It's really smaller than the other indices. I would have liked to seen that probably even a little bit bigger, in my opinion. Let's see, the handset on this watch is also nice and large and legible. You get kind of an orangish color on the second hand with a lollipop counterbalance. And overall, I think you're not going to have any trouble reading this dial right here. You get a date window at 3 o'clock, which personally I think I could have done without a date on this piece. Get Dufrane printed at the top with their logo, and also Deep Eddy and automatic, and 656 feet for the water resistance. Let me shut the lights off and we'll get a quick lume shot. All right, I am really impressed with the lume on this watch. This is not a lume dial, but those indices kind of almost illuminate the whole dial itself. They're using a C3 Superluminova, and as you can see, again, as I mentioned, that bezel is lumed. So really impressed with the application on these large indices that they have here. So the bracelet here starts out at 22 millimeters, and it tapers down to what I measured to be 15 millimeters down toward the clasp. You do get solid end links, no quick release spring bars here. You get solid links as well, some polishing on the sides of the links. Screwed pins for those links, milled clasp, generic fold over buckle here. It is signed. And just 3 micro adjusts, as you can see. So bracelet overall I think is pretty standard, nothing too unique, but I am glad that they used screwed pins on the links. That is always a plus in my book. So this is the Dufrane Deep Eddy dive watch. Let me jump back in front of the camera and share some final thoughts. So I've really enjoyed my time with the Deep Eddy from Dufrane watches. I think it's a really solidly built dive watch with a unique look that you won't find anywhere else, and it is a very legible watch. You can probably tell the time from way back here, I don't know, but it is super legible. Big dial, so it fills out that 42 millimeters and definitely feels like a 42 millimeter watch, but a good piece, and I encourage you to check out Dufrane watches. I like the fact that they're assembled right here in the United States in Austin, Texas. I appreciate that, and I think they're a company that you should definitely check out if you're not familiar with them. What do you think about this dive watch from Dufrane watches? Please let me know down in the comments below all your thoughts, any questions that you might have. If you're interested in this piece, a link to Dufrane watches will be in the description below. They're not affiliated. This isn't a sponsored video, but want to share that information with you, make it easy for you if you want to check out this brand. So that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, please hit that like button. We really appreciate it. It really helps out. If you want to watch some more videos after this one, just click one of the videos on the end screen. I think you'll enjoy it. But that's it. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time here on the Town Watch.